one of the authors of Technique.com. Following our Learn Linux from Scratch series, today I'll be talking about the Linux file system structure. And when I say file system in this context, I do not mean the ext4 or the XFX file system that you may be familiar with, just like when you have the NTFS or the GPT file system on Windows. So that is not what I'm talking about in this context. What I'm talking about is the file system hierarchy standard. When you install the Linux operating system, you will see directories, standard directories, and these directories have been organized to store a specific type of file. And these specific files are stored and will be stored under one main directory, which is the slash, that is the root file system. So when you look at the root file system, you will see various directories, various file systems. So this is what we're going to be talking about. So we're going to start from the bin directory. Bin means binary. So this directory contains the applications that are necessary for the operating system to function. For example, we have the applications like cat, the ls, the copy, which is used to copy files in the Linux operating system. If you check the bin directory, sorry, you would see lots of applications in here. For example, we can look for the cat application. We can also look for the copy application. Even this ls that we're currently using, this ls utility, we can also find the ls utility in bin directory. So this directory contains the applications or the programs that are necessary for the system to function, and they are executable files. So they are binaries. You cannot really see the content of what it is. For example, if I try to list the content of ls, you see that I have my system, dangling, and you see a lot of jargons in front of my screen. So the applications here are executable files. And one thing you should also know about bin directory is that applications installed in Linux, I mean other applications, your external applications are not usually installed in this directory. We've mentioned the fact that it is meant for applications that would make the system function. And also, this directory contains programs that are necessary for maintenance tasks, especially when you boot the system into single user mode. And in single user mode, some functions, especially network, are meant to be disabled because of security reasons. Hence why other applications will not be installed in this directory so as not to cause security breaches. So this directory is meant for applications that would make the system function. So let's go back to the root directory, which is the major directory where other directories spawn from. So let's look at the boot. Let's look at the boot directory. Oh, okay, before we look at the boot directory, I would like to talk about the Sbin directory. So the Sbin means system binary. This directory is analogous to the slash bin directory, and the difference is that it stores the binaries, the applications or programs that are intended to be used for system maintenance and administrative tasks by system administrators or root or super users only. You know, for the bin directory, we have programs like the ls, cat, and the copy, which we've seen, and these programs can be used by any other users that are residing on a Linux operating system. But there are system applications, there are system programs that cannot be used by other users. These programs can only be used by the root users, which is the system administrators, or if you've been given a privilege as a system administrator, then you can use these applications. These are system applications. So that is just the difference between the Sbin and the bin directory. And when you look at the Sbin directory, the programs we're talking about here are the like LVM programs, the VGS, the VG remove, you know, a lot of them. Let's look for LVM for example. LVM, you can see the LVM program. Here um you can also look for the LV remove program. So these programs are meant for system administrators. Just like I mentioned when explaining bin, basically other applications installed in Linux are not usually installed in this directory because the directory contains programs that are used for maintenance tasks, especially when you boot into the single user mode. So the bin directory and the sbin directory are meant are meant for the operating system. These directories contains the programs that would make the operating system function. So now let's look at the next directory, which is the boot directory. So the boot directory stores all the necessary files that is needed to boot the operating system. You have the bootloaders, the system kernels in this directory. If you look at the boot directory, you see files, you see the bootloader, you see the kernel. This is the kernel. You see the kernel. These files are files that are necessary to boot the operating system. So let's look at the next directory. Um, okay, we have the dev directory. The dev directory stores all the device related files for the system. Examples of the devices are the block devices, the disk, the CD-ROM partitions. Yeah, let's look at the dev directory. So we can see the blocks, the CD-ROM. We can see the partitions, the SDA, SDA1, SDA2, and the rest. So that's what this directory is meant for. So let's look at the next directory in line. So that's the etc directory. So the etc directory um, contains the system related data and configuration files that are required by programs. So every system related data and configuration files required by programs are stored in this directory. For example, we have the password file, we have the yum, we have the log rotate, and the likes. The configuration files stored here affect all users. So let me look for, yeah, okay, you can see the yum, you can see the samba, I'm looking for the password. Okay, you can see the password file as well. But you should also know that configuration files that are not system related may not be necessarily stored here as well. It can be stored in the user's home directory depending on the program, depending on the application. So that works too. So the next directory in line is oh sorry. The next directory in line is the home directory. This directory contains all the home directories of users. It is the directory where users store personal files like photos, music, documents, desktop, videos, etc. And every user can only access their home directory only except the required permission is given to access other users' home directory. So let's look at the home directory. Okay, so apparently I only have one user on the system, which is Oluwatomisin. So this is the as a root user, I can check the content of the home of the other users. So this is the home directory of the Oluwatomisin user. So let's check the next directory in line. Uh, uh, the lib directory. So this directory contains libraries of data for the compilers installed on the system, such as the C language routine. So in other words, these files are helpful and used by an application or a utility or a process to perform various functions for their proper execution. If you look at the library file, you can see the files that are helpful and used by applications to perform various functions for their proper execution. So the next directory in line is lib64. So the lib64 is also similar to the lib directory. The difference between these two directories is that the lib64 stores 64-bit library files. That's just the difference. So they are the same. They both store library files. The next directory is the media directory. I don't like my screen. Do not want too much of information. So the media directory create a subdirectory or a mount point for a removable media when it is inserted into the system. It automatically mounts the media depending on the variant because it's not all variant that will do this. So if you insert a CD or a USB into the system, the slash media directory would automatically mount the media. And this directory is also similar to the mount directory. So let's just talk about the mount directory. The mount directory can be used as a directory where users can temporarily mount file systems. So the difference is for the media, devices are automatically mounted, and for the mount files for the mount directory, this is done manually. So moving forward, let's look at the OPT directory. OPT means optional. So this directory is reserved or stores optional packages. That is, packages that are not part of the default application. Most times, third-party applications are always installed in this directory. and applications that don't follow the Unix file hierarchy standard also dumps its file in this directory. So let me see if I have anything in this directory. So I don't have any application installed in this directory. So the next directory is the proc directory. The proc directory, yeah, the proc directory can also be called a virtual file system because it contains a real-time information about the processes running on the system. It presents this information as a file or a directory. We said earlier that everything in Linux is a file. So if you check the proc directory, you see the real-time information. Everything that is happening on the system is presented as directories and files. Yes, for example, you can get the current CPU information, the current memory information and partition here. So if I look at the trying to get okay, look at the mem info file. It's going to give you the memory information, the current memory information. So it's presenting everything that is currently happening on the system as a file. There are other, let's look at other information we can get. Look at the partitions file. So you can see the partitions that are presently that are current on the system. So we can also look at the current CPU information, which is to this. So you can see the current CPU information on the system. So the next directory to check out is the root directory. So this is the user's home directory, the root user's home directory. Every file and directory starts from this directory. Though this directory is root home directory, but it doesn't live in the slash home directory. If you go to home directory, you would not see the root home directory in this directory. So this directory is also provided for other users to store data in, provided the necessary permission is given to them. So let's look at the Sbin directory. Oh, okay. So I we already talked about the Sbin directory. So let's go to the SRV directory. SRV means service. So the services that are provided by the system, for example, the Apache web server, FTP, data, they are all stored in this directory. And the data file for a particular service can easily be located in this directory. So we'll go to the next directory, which is the USR directory. USR means Unix System Resource, and it stores the OS files which are not involved in the boot process. So applications and files that are used by users and not the system are also stored in this directory. That is, it contains all the user's system resources like users' binaries, libraries, header files, etc. For example, many and more utilities that are not in bin are available in user bin. So if I go to USR directory, you can see Sbin. This is Sbin. This is bin. We said that Sbin and bin are they are applications that are necessary for the system to function. So the ones that are not necessary for the system to function are stored in USR, and the remaining ones are stored in USR/bin and then USR/Sbin. So these files are considered not essential to the system. And the USR also contains shared files. That is, the /USR is shareable. This directory also contains more of libraries and data files used by various commands, like the USR/TMP. It stores more temporary files. If you check, let's check the TMP. If we have, okay, so these are temporary files, and this directory is a read-only directory. I mean, USR directory is a read-only directory. So which takes us to the var directory. Yes, so for var directory, this is a variable directory and it stores variable data, that is files and directories that the system writes to during operations and grow in size. And that's why when you see, this is where you see your logs, files that can grow in size, and it is the opposite of the USR directory. We said, or rather, I said that the USR directory is a read only directory, but for the var directory, it is a read write directory. So logs are written in /var or var directory. So all operations that are supposed to write in USR are written in var directory, and that's why you can have your log files. Your log files in this directory. Oh, sorry. So these are the log files. These are log files in this in the var directory. So files can be written in this directory as opposed to USR directory where you cannot write files. So now you know that these directories that we've talked about have been organized to store a specific type of file, and these directories are the whole system, and you should know how they function. Actually, if you're a newbie, you might not really get to understand it fully, but as you begin or as you continue to use the operating system, you get used to it, and you can always come back to watch the video and try to follow up and understand what these file systems are. So thank you for watching. Please subscribe to this channel. Bye for now.